From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And it is 5 o'clock here on your Friday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and here are your headlines on this August the 28th. COVID concerns on campus. IU Bloomington taking action as the Hoosiers head into the first weekend of their school year.
Less bus stops. The region's largest public transit company planning to change where it picks up passengers. We have more on the plan and the reaction.
And play ball of a different kind. Instead of bats, you'll need clubs on this field, taking a new direction during the pandemic.
All right, it is 5 o'clock here, guys. We finally made it to Friday. Thanks for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. Rafael, thanks for joining us from down in Johnson County.
Lauren, good morning to you. It is Friday, and I am ready to be Todd Clausen's official caddy. So you tell me, Todd, where am I meeting you tomorrow? Rain or shine, I'm ready to go. I am bringing the adult beverages. So let's go.
You know, Rafael, you don't even have to wait till tomorrow because I have a 2:30 tea time today. So
okay.
you don't even have to wait till tomorrow. Although you notice I put this red background with this nifty little thunderstorm icon here. We are expecting a few thunderstorms, so we'll see if that tea time does happen later on today. But I'll take you up on the offer. Outside right now, it's pretty quiet. There's lots of clouds around. There's a few isolated little sprinkles out there. And it's kind of a 1-2 punch for us. We have the remnants of Laura spinning away near Memphis, and then we have storms to the north near Minneapolis. And it's a combination of the remnants of Laura and then a cold front that is going to be heading our way over the course of really the next 24 hours. A few sprinkles possible this morning, but nothing major. If you do have outdoor plans this morning, you should be just fine. It's just warm and muggy with temperatures in the 70s. As we go throughout the course of the day, though, we'll build in those scattered storms throughout the afternoon hours, and then they'll continue into the evening hours. There is the slight risk for severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center from Indianapolis to the north. We'll break down the timeline of the storms and the threats you may see coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look at traffic through the downtown area if you're heading out the door at this early hour on Friday morning. This is I-65, a view near Fletcher Avenue between the north and south splits. Traffic is moving along up to speed in both directions. No problems to slow you down. So here at 5:03 this morning, Indianapolis Public Schools is hoping the state legislature upholds the governor's call to fund schools at 100%. There are some concerns that schools statewide would only get 85% of their funding if a majority of students are remote learning. IPS says if that happens, the district could lose $28 million this school year, leading to, quote, catastrophic staff and program cuts.
So, Lauren, another major concern for educators during this new normal is access to remote learning, as we're seeing there at IPS. 1/3 of children worldwide have not been able to access remote learning since the beginning of this pandemic. Of course, here in Indianapolis, IPS, for the first time ever, has provided an iPad or a Chromebook to every student. According to the UNICEF report released on Thursday, that represents at least 463 million students. The UN agency collected data from 100 countries and analyzed around 1.5 billion students affected by school closures. Now, UNICEF called the situation a global education emergency with repercussions that could be felt for decades to come.
So one of the biggest universities here in our state is taking action as students head into the first weekend of their school year. IU down in Bloomington is concerned about a spike of COVID-19 cases on their campus. WRTV's own Alyssa Donovan is joining us live with the plan to address that issue. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So IU staff is directing about 2,600 students who are involved in Greek life to quarantine starting this weekend rather. And that's amid what they are calling an alarming spike in positive COVID-19 cases. Now, what we know is this increase is within Greek, Evans Scholars, and Christian Student Fellowship houses in Bloomington. IU has directed all houses to suspend in-person activities. The Monroe County Health Department has ordered members of 8 Greek houses to quarantine for 14 days. The university says because there are cases of community transmission within the houses, the sororities and fraternities have been told to suspend those organizational activities other than dining and housing for live-in memberships at least through September 14th. And IU administrators say they knew there would be positive cases when students all came back to campus and started classes again, and they prepared for that with these mitigation efforts. And they say it's very important that they take these types of measures early on in the semester to prevent further transmission of COVID-19. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you so much. Young people who spend time in the foster care system and are facing some tough times are getting some new support. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, is starting a new program to provide stable housing to former foster youth ages 18 to 24. The program awarded $14,000 to the Indianapolis Housing Agency. Now, 3 people have already received housing vouchers. The executive director of IHA, John Hall, says he can issue up to 25 vouchers a year.
The time right now is 5:06 on your Friday, so Indigo is decluttering to meet the needs of Hoosiers who both ride and share the road with the buses. This morning, WRTV's own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live to explain the process of this bus stop balancing and the changes you can expect. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So these changes will impact just about 550 bus stops across Indianapolis, but Indianapolis does have more than 3,300 bus stops currently. So obviously this is concerning to some riders who want to know where their new stop will be. Well, Faith Chadwick with Indigo says they have a new interactive map of all the stop buses will make. 544 of those stops will be impacted by bus stop balancing, which involves stops being removed, consolidated, or completely removed for spacing. On several Indianapolis streets, bus stops are right on top of each other, and these short distances means buses and other traffic are constantly stopping.
I mean, imagine as a motorist, if you're driving, if you had to stop at a red light every single block, it would take you a long time to get where you're trying to go. And that's what we're trying to remedy with this project, is to just space those stops out enough that it improves our on-time performance, our efficiency, and makes the experience better for our riders.
So which stops stay and which stops go depends on what's nearby, like schools and hospitals, and ridership numbers. Stickers will soon be added to stops that will be impacted, and Indigo says in most cases, the change will only create a slightly longer walk to the bus stop. Now, to get a closer look at that interactive map and which bus stops will be impacted by this, you can head over to WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. So the date does matter. Today is Friday, August the 28th, and non-for-profit organizations have until today to apply for some grants to help them get through the pandemic. Here are the details on this. The City of Indianapolis and the United Way of Central Indiana partnered to form the non-for-profit Restart Program. Organizations can receive anywhere between $200 and $5,000. The money is from the Federal CARES Act and can be used by any 501c3, a charity, to help them safely reopen. Non-for-profits that receive funding can use the money for PPE, disinfectant products, and improvements to their facilities to help with social distancing guidelines. We have more information right now on how to apply at WRTV.com.
So baseball is coming back to Victory Field, not on the diamond, but on the big screen. Some classic movies about America's pastime will be screened at the ballpark. The Sandlot will be on September 11th, Angels in the Outfield on September 25th, and A League of Their Own on October 9th. For more information, you can go to IndyIndians.com. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. All right, Todd, it may not be the best day for an outdoor movie. I don't know, what are we looking like in terms of showers later today?
You know, as we get especially into the afternoon and evening hours, there will be some scattered showers and storms moving through, Lauren. It's definitely not a washout of a day. In fact, there could be a few peaks of sunshine at times, but there's just a lot going on in this forecast, and to just time it out is going to be pretty tough because you have the remnants of Laura pushing to the south. You have also a cold front up in Minneapolis back into Nebraska that's going to be dropping through, and that is going to increase rain chances as well. So as we work our way throughout the the day. I think the best thing you need to know is going forward is that there is the potential for rainfall today, especially this afternoon and this evening, as it's going to kind of pinwheel up from the south. And then as we get later in the day, that cold front is going to drop through. So we'll put the rainfall coverage in the scattered category for you during the day today. Have the umbrella handy. Just know you won't need it at all times. I'll show you TrueCast and walk you through not only today, hour by hour, but into the weekend as well in just a few minutes.
Todd, don't forget I can be your caddy today. Keep me up to date on that. Next, damage and destruction across the southern U.S. left by Hurricane Laura. This morning, how the community is now picking up those pieces. Lauren?
And Raphael, anyone in those cold weather cities knows that eating outside in the winter months, it can be a little bit too much to digest, right? So now Chicago wants someone to figure out how they can do it COVID style. Details on what they're offering up, that's coming up after the break. Stick around. Welcome back. This morning, people all along the Gulf Coast are still picking up the pieces after Hurricane Laura ripped through that area. That historic storm striking people in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas with deadly force. Homes leveled, entire neighborhoods now underwater, businesses destroyed, and even a chemical plant in Westlake, Louisiana, going up in flames. 4 people in that state killed by falling trees. Another man died of carbon monoxide poisoning while he was running a generator inside his home. Another drowned when a boat sank in the storm. Out in Orange, Texas, the mayor stayed behind as his city evacuated, and now they're trying to grapple with Laura's force.
It's crazy to hear wind blowing that hard. It makes a sound that, I've never heard before. And so there were some times where I was like, I had to say a couple extra prayers, like, Lord, keep us safe. But he saw us through, and I'm very thankful.
Well, Hurricane Laura is the strongest storm to hit the Texas-Louisiana border in a century. It's now been downgraded as it moves inland. President Donald Trump is expected to survey this area over the weekend. At 5:15, turning now to the 4th and final night of the Republican National Convention. President Donald Trump formally accepting his party's nomination, laying out his case for another 4 years.
And Lauren, the president made law and order the central part of his message, condemning the violent protests that have gripped the nation over the past few months. The president and other GOP leaders blaming Democrats for the ongoing violence erupting after peaceful protests against police brutality.
In the strongest possible terms, the Republican Party condemns the rioting, looting, arson, and violence we have seen in Democrat-run cities all, like Kenosha, Minneapolis, Portland, Chicago, and New York, and many others.
Unlike the Democrats who are running in fear of the mob in the street, President Trump has never apologized for supporting police officers and standing up for law and order.
Joe Biden, who had been laying low during the convention, hit back, blaming the president for the unrest, saying in his own words the following: "The problem we have right now is we are in Donald Trump's America. He's pouring gasoline on the fire." Both parties now will hit the campaign trail. Also from the nation's capital, today tens of thousands of people from across the country are expected to march for criminal justice reform. August 28th, 1963 was a landmark day in American history with the Civil Rights March on Washington and the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s historic I Have a Dream speech. Organizers initially expected 100,000 people, but D.C.'s coronavirus quarantine travel restrictions ended up cutting that number in half. For those not able to attend, the event will be streamed online in full by the NAACP.
Well, after months without professional sports due to COVID-19, much of the sports world is on pause again, this time in protest of racism, police brutality, and social injustice. Last night's NBA playoff games were postponed for a second evening in a row. This is so the players can stand together against racial injustice and send a message to America. But players decided they do want to continue the season moving forward. It's just not clear yet when it will resume. There's been some talk that the rest of the season could be canceled, but that's apparently not the case. The NBA says it's hoping to resume games tonight or Saturday.
And Lauren, here at home, the Colts, they paused their activities on Thursday to join solidarity with this movement spreading across the country. The team sent out a tweet. It says instead of practicing, the team will use the day to discuss and work toward making a lasting social impact and inspiring change in our communities. Now, we spoke to a local activist and entrepreneur who says he's not surprised by the boycotts. His company urges other corporations and businesses to get involved.
Sports, particularly the NFL and the NBA, those are leagues that are predominantly black. And so you have black men reacting to what they're seeing within society because they can't escape from it.
All of us can really take a hard look, regardless of the size of our company and how much money we make, and do better in all of these areas.
Marshawn Wally's company created a program businesses and organizations right here in central Indiana can use to create change. It's called Indy Accomplish and shows corporations how to move forward from releasing statements to as well as taking action. They'll be hosting informational sessions for interested businesses next week. We'll have more information about that on our website, WRTV.com. If you step outside right now, you will not be alone, Todd Clausen, because the thing you feel around you is humidity. It's like a big chunk of wall, it won't let you move.
Yeah, yesterday, Raphael, we had those overcast skies. Temperatures were still in the 80s, but it was really the humidity that made you work up a sweat so easily. I went for a bike ride yesterday evening, and I was sweating up a storm. It's the same this morning. Not much has changed. Temperatures are in the 70s. We're dealing with these high humidity levels, so if you choose to work out this morning, you are going to get sweaty pretty quick, so make sure you drink plenty of water once you get done. 79 right now in Muncie, 77 in Lafayette, 76 in Bloomington. As we go throughout the day with the cloud cover around, though, our temperatures won't take that huge surge forward. We only get up into the mid-80s this afternoon. We're mainly just cloudy throughout the morning hours with a spot sprinkle, and then we'll start to build in the chance of storms later on this afternoon. Here's the satellite radar picture right now, and you can see there's a few spot showers here and there, and this will be the case throughout the morning hours. So it's not completely zero chance of rain here this morning, but anything you do see would be very brief, and it would also be very light. As I expand out and show you the bigger picture, you see several things going on. We have the spin near Memphis. That is the remnants of Hurricane Laura, and that's going to pass just to our south. And then you see the storms rolling through Minneapolis here this morning, and with a trailing cold front that extends all the way back towards the Denver area. Well, first we're going to start to see some showers pinwheel from Laura, and then we're going to see the cold front drop through later on this afternoon and this evening. So basically at any point this afternoon, there will be the chance of some scattered showers and storms. If you do have outdoor plans, I don't think you need to cancel them because of the storm threat. You just need to be weather aware. So download that Storm Shield app. That would alert you to any storms that could be heading in your direction. And it has an interactive radar you can check as well. And the Storm Prediction Center does have some slight risk of severe weather to the north, but that's mainly for later on this evening and then into the early overnight hours. And TrueCast will show you these showers and storms pinwheeling through at times during the day today. And then a little more of a steadier rain develops this evening in far southern locations as Laura scoots by to the south. And then once that front comes through very early Saturday morning, it'll usher in a whole new air mass as we progress into your weekend. So Saturday morning starts off with some clouds, a few spotty showers, and it turns really, really nice. Sunday is terrific. Sunny skies, low humidity, a high rate around 80 degrees. Then next week, we're still right around 80 degrees with some spotty storms in the forecast each day. Raphael?
Todd, thank you so much. It's a sign of the times. All over the country, restaurants have been expanding their outdoor experience, of course, to keep up with social distancing. But as we know, the winter months are coming. So what do? Like places like Chicago are trying to figure that out, what to do during the cooler months. And so that's why the Illinois Restaurant Association came up with a new contest. Chicago's Winter Design Challenge is offering $5,000 to anyone who can come up with a brilliant idea to make eating outdoors a little more pleasant when the temperatures drop. Right now in the city, indoor seating is capped at 25% capacity. The winning plan has to be something no one has thought of yet. So no blankets, heat lamps, and no greenery. Lauren?
Well, Raphael, the Colts are giving back to local heroes. Just after the break, see how the team surprised a group of paramedics. It's 5:22. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Raphael, there are heroes in all walks of life, but the Indianapolis Colts, they took time to celebrate some of our local heroes who put their lives on the line for us every single day.
So throughout the 2020 Colts training camp, fans could nominate a hero that they felt really stepped up during this pandemic to really help out their community. So Thursday, members of the Colts organization, they delivered pizza to a team of paramedics and their colleagues at Indianapolis Fire Station 26 on the city's south side. Go South Side. A Colts Ring of Honor inductee and former receiver Bill Brooks was also on hand for that celebration. So Todd Clausen, time to check your forecast. We celebrate all our first responders and we thank them for what they do every day.
Yeah, absolutely, Raphael. They're always doing good things there on the front lines. And as you walk out the door here this morning, you're walking out to a lot of humidity, as we've talked about, but fairly dry conditions this morning. So as you plan out your day, we're starting off the morning with mainly just cloud cover around. There could be a stray shower here and there, so don't be shocked if you see one, especially in southern locations. But it's really this afternoon as we get into the peak heating of the day and the remnants of Laura move to our south that we bring in better storm chances. It's not widespread. It's not a slam dunk severe weather case throughout the day today, but there will be some showers and storms around. We will break it down for you hour by hour coming up in the next half hour as Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
This morning, there's growing concern surrounding a spike in COVID-19 cases on the IU Bloomington campus. Now at 5:30, the steps the university is now taking to slow down the spread of the virus.
And the mayor of Indianapolis making a major announcement about new plans to help recover downtown. The new programs being put in place to improve safety and expand resources for the homeless.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana, and I have the best 6-letter word of the week, Lauren. The best 6, do you know what it is?
What is it?
Can you guess?
Friday?
Friday.
Yes. I can't believe
Welcome to
we finally made
Friday.
it. Yes, we made it, and we're kicking off your morning. Todd has a red screen, though, behind him. So, Todd, what's that about?
You know, I just wanted to change it up. So we have some thunderstorms in the forecast, and with the new graphics package, I found this one that had the little thunderstorm on it, and so I was like, we'll just go with red here on Friday. I don't want to alert you to a big outbreak of severe weather, but there will be the potential of a few storms here later on this afternoon and then into the evening hours as we deal with the remnants of Laura and also a cold front moving through, and eventually that cold front brings us terrific weather for the second half of your Saturday and your Sunday. But you see the storms in Minneapolis, you see the spin in Memphis, they're counterclockwise. That's what's left of Hurricane Laura. As we go closer to home, though, we have clouds in place and there's a few spotty showers trying to work in from south to north. Otherwise, it's just a pretty cloudy and quiet morning for us with temperatures that are sitting in the 70s. But boy, is it humid and muggy out there. As we go throughout the day, your rain chances are going to ramp up as we get into the afternoon hours. Again, it's not going to be a washout this afternoon, but there will be some showers and storms that will be around, so have the umbrella handy if you are going to be out and about. And it's not out of the question that one or two of these storms could be borderline strong to severe. High temperatures today in the 80s. We'll talk more about the severe threat for you coming up here in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out to kick off your Friday. This is a live look from our INDOT traffic camera on the northwest side at I-465, a view near West 46th Street, where traffic is moving along just fine northbound and southbound for your commute. No crashes to slow you down. New from overnight, a woman is dead after a shooting on Indy's northeast side. This all happened around midnight near the intersection of 42nd Street and North Brentwood Avenue. When police arrived, they found a woman among a large gathering of 30 people or more. She was taken to the hospital where she later died. That investigation is ongoing.
The number of Hoosiers who've tested positive for COVID-19 has topped 1,000 in a single day yet again. As you can see from this chart, numbers have steadily climbed throughout the week. On Thursday, state health officials reported more than 1,100 new cases. Health officials also say 6 more Hoosiers have died from the virus, a big drop from Wednesday's number. The statewide total is now more than 3,000 people.
Well, and as students at Indiana University finish up that first week of classes, COVID-19 cases are on the rise among a specific population, those students involved in fraternities and sororities. And so our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with the details on how the university is working to keep the spread under control. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. Now, keep in mind, Greek life makes up less than 1% of the population at IU's Bloomington campus. This is about 2,600 students. But in the first week alone, IU administrators say among that group, they've seen an alarming increase in positive cases of COVID-19, which is why they are taking action already. Now, going into the first weekend back on campus, those 2,600 students will be quarantined. That's 8 houses, including Greek, Evans Scholars, and Christian Student Fellowship houses, among those where the school has detected positive COVID-19 cases. The university says because these are cases of community transmission within the houses, the sororities and fraternities have been told to suspend in-person organizational activities other than dining and housing for live-in members at least through September 14th. And just a few days ago, IU did release numbers showing a less than 1% of positive cases for students moving into housing. That's on campus, including dorm rooms and things like that. And of course, we'll continue to check in with them on those numbers. IU administrators do say that they expected the positive cases to rise once students were on campus, and they've prepared for that, which is why they are getting these students into quarantine as quickly as possible. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you so much. This morning, Indianapolis city leaders say they've distributed nearly 700,000 free masks since the pandemic began. Mayor Joe Hogsett announced the program back in May, as you may recall, to provide the masks for those who can't afford one. It is being made possible with funds from the Federal CARES Act. The masks have been distributed to both residents and organizations like Leaner's Food Bank. City leaders also, they're focused on bringing back life to the downtown area after the protests that we've seen over the few months. But this morning, those dealing with folks experiencing homelessness hope they will soon get some help as well. Lily Spencer is a housing advocate at Coburn Place. She tells WRTV there are a lot of great programs and resources to help those in need, but they need more financial support.
As straightforward as it sounds, money. The most impactful resources I see coming through are the dollars. That's what most of my clients need.
The city of Indianapolis gave $2.7 million from their coronavirus funds to community organizations, helping those who are homeless. More money is expected to be given out in the coming weeks and months.
Well, a petition by a local advocacy group is calling for the city of Indianapolis to keep many of its now vacant Blue Indy parking spaces. The electric cars were pulled off the streets back in March, and the city says the service was no longer economically viable. The petition by the Hoosier Electric Vehicle Association asks the city to preserve at least 50 of those charging stations and to upgrade the hardware at each one. Well, this morning, city leaders say it's likely there will be some different solutions for different neighborhoods across Marion County.
So Lauren, listen to this. Board games and comic books, that's right, board games and comic books are part of a local initiative to help African-American leaders and communities here in Indianapolis. Local businesses owners have donated to an online auction to raise money for local organizations. Comic Book University, Good Games, Kingmakers, and Moonshot Games are all taking part in this effort. We first introduced you to the owner of Moonshot Games back in April as he struggled to keep his business afloat during the stay-at-home order. Now Jason Manship says he's in a position to give back.
As we see the social unrest in our country and the issues surrounding that, oh man, it's just heartbreaking. And so, I mean, I know we can't change the world, but I think we can be the change in our world to the best of our ability.
Money raised will go to a number of organizations, including the Ibotta Dance Company and the Indiana Association of Black Psychologists. The auction runs through Monday. You can find a link on the WRTV app. Now let's check your forecast with Todd Clausen. And Todd, if you step outside, you will meet Mr. and Mrs. Humidity because they are out there and it's something.
I don't know if that's a marriage made in heaven for everybody here across central Indiana, Raphael, but they are going strong here today as they are going together, and we're going to be dealing with heat and humidity throughout the entire day today. Some changes, though, do arrive over the weekend, so that's when we're going to see the humidity decrease across the area, but we have a tropical system just down to our south, the remnants of Laura, and a lot of times they bring up a lot of humidity with them, and the clouds we're dealing with are part of that system, and eventually we'll see some showers from that. And we also have a cold front to our northwest. That's the storms you see in Wisconsin, back into Minnesota, and into parts of the plains. And it's as that cold front comes through that we'll have the potential for some severe weather. So as we go throughout the course of, I should say Friday on the top storm threats, as we go throughout the course of this Friday, wind is by far our biggest threat. Hail, not too much of a concern. And this is later tonight and then eventually into the day tomorrow morning, very early on Saturday, that we'll have the best storm threat. So it's not a slam dunk case for severe weather, but the potential is there. I'll use TrueCast and show you the timeline of these storms for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Hurricane Laura leaving that trail of destruction in Louisiana. Still ahead, a look at the damage and the areas being impacted this morning. It is 5:39. We'll be right back.
On this Friday, welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Today, Black Lives Matter activists will host their first national convention. The virtual event is calling for slavery reparations, universal basic income, environmental justice, and criminal justice reform. It is the third convention for our country in 2 weeks following the Democratic and the Republican National Convention. Similar to those, the Black National Convention will feature pre-taped speeches as well as performances. It will be live streamed on blacknovember.org starting at 7 p.m.
Well, new video of damage and destruction from Hurricane Laura now. At least 6 people have died in Louisiana. Nearly 800,000 power outages have been reported in the area. ABC's Will Reeve has the latest.
This morning, Laura pushing north, triggering flash floods and heavy wind all the way to Illinois.
Water still rising in Lafitte.
But in the south,
oh my gosh.
the path of destruction left in her wake now becoming clear.
This place is completely gone.
Cameron Parish in Louisiana, ground zero for Laura's landfall. The first images of the wreckage devastating. Homes stripped to their foundations, trailers toppled and twisted, and huge trees snapped like twigs by winds topping 150 miles per hour.
Homes like this completely destroyed out here.
In nearby Lake Charles, similar scenes.
Some of the winds from Hurricane Laura took upper floors of this hotel and ripped it to shreds.
Huge branches catapulted by the wind, skewering cars. This radio tower mangled, smashing nearby buildings.
So much of what we've seen here in Louisiana defies imagination. What you're looking at here is a half mile of upended rail cars. Each one of these things weighs 65,000 pounds.
Just west of Lake Charles, a fire breaking out at this chemical plant, sending noxious chlorine gas and smoke into the air, forcing residents to stay inside their homes if they still have one.
Do you see this slab? Yeah, that's where his house was.
Overnight, many communities still too dangerous for rescuers to reach. Power poles and live wires blocking all lanes in many areas, but neighbors already doing their part to start the recovery. This woman even saving llamas on the loose.
Oh my God, get out.
Despite the destruction,
That ain't good.
Officials say Laura's aftermath could have been far worse.
When you consider the magnitude of the damage that could have occurred here, we did dodge a bullet.
Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
All right, thank you, Will, for that. Tremendous pictures, unfortunately, of the devastation coming out of there in Louisiana. As you heard, Texas kind of got spared with that storm, as it was a fairly compact storm that made its way through western Louisiana. So some people lucked out, but unfortunately, with a Category 4 storm, you're going to see pictures like that of the destroyed houses. Here in central Indiana, we'll start to deal with the impacts of Laura making its way just south of us going forward in our forecast here throughout the day. day today, and there is the threat of some strong to severe storms for us. Now, it's not solely because of Laura. There's a cold front that's coming through later on as well, and I think it's more the cold front that'll give us the potential for severe weather as the day goes on. This morning, no severe threat. It's just warm. It's just muggy. Scattered storms and a spot severe one is possible this afternoon, but it's really this evening and then into the early overnight hours that we have the best potential for some strong to severe storms. And as you see at the bottom of my graphic there's a slight risk from SPC. SPC stands for the Storm Prediction Center, and that's who puts out the marginal, high, and slight risk. And today we're in the slight risk category. Here is what's left of Laura spinning away near Memphis. We have this cold front up to our north here with this cluster of storms. They'll both converge on Indiana as we go throughout the course of the day today. And there's a few spotty showers you see now towards the Sullivan area, sneaking into Bedford as well. And so we'll deal with these spotty showers off and on throughout the course of the morning hours and into the afternoon. And as TrueCast isn't really picking up on a ton in the way of a severe weather with that front going through, but with this kind of setup, a tropical system and then also a front moving through, I think the models are struggling a little bit to pick up on the potential of these storms later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. So just know that they will be possible as that front starts to approach. 79 right now in Muncie, 76 in Indianapolis highs today. It's going to be very muggy. We're looking at only temperatures in the low to mid 80s as these scattered storms start to build into the forecast this evening. Scattered storms through about 7 o'clock, and then we'll see a bit of a break as temperatures will be in the 70s tomorrow. Some lingering cloud cover to start your Saturday. But things really improve as the day goes on. I think the biggest thing you'll notice tomorrow is the humidity is really going to start to drop as we get into the afternoon hours. And that's going to set us up for a splendid Sunday forecast with a high of 80 degrees and lots of sunshine. Look at that temperature Sunday morning at 58 degrees. So Sunday starts off cool, gets up to 80, which is seasonable with that sunshine. We're at 60 degrees to start Monday morning. Monday's a good day, just some storms late in the day, and then better storm chances look like they return to the forecast as we work our way into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. So Indigo is decluttering to meet the needs of Hoosiers who both ride and share the road with its buses. This morning, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is joining us live to explain the process of bus stop balancing and the changes you can expect. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So they're doing this decluttering to make things run more smoothly and more efficiently. So right now there are several areas across Indy where buses are having to make stops at each block, and that's just slowing things down for bus riders and for other drivers on the road. So they're going to adjust more than 500 bus stops, which sounds like a lot, and obviously that's concerning to some riders who want to know where their new stop will be. But just take a look at this map and you can see there are a lot of stops in Indy, more than 3,300. Which stops stay and which stops goes depends on what's nearby, like schools and hospitals, and ridership numbers. Stickers will soon be added to the stops that will be impacted, and Indigo says in most cases the change will only create a slightly longer walk to the bus stop.
As part of this project, the maximum added walk time should be about 5 minutes. Like you said, there's a lot of places where this is happening where you can see the next stop from the stop that you're standing at.
Chadwick does want all bus riders to know about a new interactive map they've created so you can see exactly where any bus stop is on any Indigo route. So now to get a closer look at that interactive map and see more of what these changes could mean for you, head over to WRTV.com to get a look at that map and their big plan. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Victory Field is dark this morning, and the lights won't be coming back on for the baseball season, as you know. Coming up, how the ballpark is playing host to a different type of game this weekend. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, August the 28th.
Welcome back. So the Indianapolis Indians are keeping Victory Field open to fans, though, without baseball.
That's right. So right now the organization is trading those 9 innings for 9 holes. Our Brett Brown shows us around.
It's a completely different perspective on a round of golf in the heart of downtown Indy.
You look at this field and you see greens out there and you see some pin locations and mock water hazards and sand traps, and you think, what is going on? If you were to come in and this was your first time in Victory Field, you'd think, I thought I was coming to a baseball stadium.
The Indians have put together the links at Victory Field, a 9-hole course in and around one of the best ballparks in America. In this summer without baseball, it's a chance to put this beautiful backdrop to a new use.
It's just one of those things that captivates you when you see the pictures, and you think about too how you can spread people around the ballpark in an era of social distancing. We've got 50 to 75 golfers here at a time in a 14,000 seat ballpark, so it made a lot of sense in a lot of ways.
Full disclosure, I am not a regular golfer, but I do know that looking the part is half of anything, and I've got that covered. For golfers of any skill level, the Victory Field course will be a fun test of your short game. 3 shots per tee box, your score improves based on distance to each pin.
We'll get some serious golfers that want to worry about their scores, which is great, and I would lean that way. But for the novices, or you just want to come out and have a good time, get outside, drink a couple cold beverages as you take your tour through Victory Field and play your 9 holes. We're really excited about it.
This weekend's tee times have already sold out, but there's a solid chance you'll see some more golf at the Vic soon enough.
Anyone that golfs, we're going to have a great time no matter the course or level or however challenging it is. But for someone to swing a club for the first time and then they get done playing 9 holes and they think, I want to play again, that's what we're going for. We just want to bring people out, bring family and friends together, provide a little escape from what we know is 2020 and give them some entertainment that they haven't otherwise had here this summer.
There are more events in store at the ballpark as fall rolls around. Next weekend, it's the Grand Slam Auto Show on Saturday, 9 to 3. That's open to the public with free admission. And the Indians will be having movie nights on the big screen with socially distanced seating in the outfield. A trio of Fridays, September 11 and 25th, and October 9th. Tickets and information at IndyIndians.com. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
All right, thank you there, Brad. Looks terrific there. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. I think it will for the most part this weekend as they kick it off. And then, of course, we'll fine-tune the forecast for those movie nights going forward. Outside right now, it is warm. It is muggy. Temperatures are in the 70s all across the area. 78 in Muncie at this hour, 76 in Indy, and 73 up in Kokomo. Not much on radar right now, just mostly cloudy skies as you get going on this Friday morning. But as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, we will build in some scattered storms across the area, some of which could be borderline strong to severe, with a high temperature today of 85 degrees. We'll talk about the storms in more detail for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
All right, Todd. Well, Indigo routes are preparing for big changes coming up in the next 6 minutes. We'll tell you how the changes will impact where thousands of riders catch the bus. Now let's take a live look right now at the city skyline here. It is 5:56 on your Friday morning. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic to kick off your work day and your weekend coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana.